All right, so today we are going to take a deep dive into these legal documents and EPO website info all about European patents.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, it looks pretty complicated,
It is a very complex topic for sure.
but I think our listeners are really going to be interested in this new unitary patent system.
Yeah, it's potentially a big deal for inventors.
But is it really going to be the innovation revolution everyone's saying, or just another complicated system?
That is the question, isn't it?
So before we jump into this new system, can you remind me, why are patents so important in the first place?
Well, patents are all about protecting those ideas, those
Right.
brilliant ideas you come up with. Um, so let's say you invent this revolutionary new coffee maker,
Okay.
one that makes the perfect cup of coffee every time with zero effort. A patent gives you the exclusive right to make and use and sell that invention.
Right, so no one can just steal your coffee maker idea.
Exactly. It protects your ingenuity for a certain period of time.
But I know patents have been a bit of a headache in Europe, right?
Oh, yeah. You got all these different countries, each with their own rules.
And their own fees.
Exactly. It's like if you had to take a separate driving test in every single state.
Oh, that would be a nightmare.
That's kind of what it was like for inventors trying to get patent protection across Europe before this unitary patent.
So is this new unitary patent like a European driver's license then?
Yeah, you could think of it that way.
One patent and you are good to go across the EU.
It's the gold toast. One application, one set of fees, and boon protection across a big chunk of the EU.
I like the sound of that.
It's designed to make things way simpler and cheaper,
Especially for smaller companies.
especially for them. Yeah.
This must have taken a long time to put together, though.
Oh, it did decades.
Yeah.
Actually, the idea's been around since like the 70s,
Wow.
but it faced so many legal challenges and political roadblocks.
And then Brexit happened, too.
Yeah, that definitely didn't help, but finally, after years and years, it went live in June 2023.
So it's finally here,
It is.
along with this new Unified Patent Court.
UPC, that's right.
Yeah. Okay, so for inventors, what are the biggest advantages here?
Well, think about those smaller companies and individual inventors, right?
Okay.
Before, they might have had to choose, like, okay, do we protect our invention in just a few key countries?
Right, because they couldn't afford to do it everywhere.
Exactly. Or they'd have to drain all their resources trying to cover the whole EU.
But with the unitary patent, they don't have to make that choice.
Exactly. It gives them a fighting chance to protect their invention across a much larger market.
It levels the playing field.
Exactly. And there's a huge financial advantage,
It's
too.
even better.
We're talking major cost savings here.
Like what?
Well, first of all, translation costs, those can be enormous for complicated inventions.
Yeah, I bet.
And then there are the renewal fees.
Oh, right. You have to pay those every year.
Every year in every country where you have a patent.
That sounds like a lot of paperwork.
It's a nightmare. But with the unitary patent, you pay one renewal fee,
Really?
like a single subscription that covers all the participating countries.
So much simpler.
Much simpler and much more predictable financially.
That makes a lot of sense.
So inventors and companies can focus on what really matters, developing their innovations and getting them out into the world.
Instead of being bogged down with paperwork.
Exactly.
Okay, so this all sounds amazing so far, but what happens if someone infringes on your patent?
Ah, that's where the Unified Patent Court comes in.
Right, the UPC.
Exactly. That's kind of the other half of this whole system.
So before this new court, what would happen if someone just decided to copy your invention?
Well, you'd potentially have to fight legal battles in multiple countries.
Oh, wow.
And each country has its own procedures and legal traditions and all of that.
So it could be a real mess.
Oh, yeah, it definitely could be. But with the UPC, it's designed to be like a one-stop shop for all patent disputes.
So you only have to go to one court.
In theory.
Yes.
That simplifies things a lot.
It's supposed to, and it also helps to ensure more consistent rulings across the EU.
Which is good, right?
Yeah, it creates a level playing field in terms of enforcement. So a big company can't just bully a smaller inventor anymore.
Well, that's the idea anyway.
But this all sounds a little too good to be true. I mean, not every EU country is on board with this, right?
You're right, not every country is participating.
Like, who's opted out?
Well, Spain, Poland, and Croatia decided not to join.
And of course, the UK with Brexit.
Yeah, that's right.
So why would a country choose to opt out of this? It seems like a pretty good deal.
Well, some countries are worried about increased litigation. They think this new court might actually make it easier for companies to sue each other.
Even if the lawsuits aren't really valid.
Exactly, like patent trolls.
Oh, right. Those
Mm.
companies that buy up patents just to sue people.
Yeah, so they're worried it could actually make things more expensive for companies who are just trying to defend themselves.
And some countries might not like giving up control of their own patent laws.
That's another concern. Yeah, they worry about losing sovereignty to this supranational court.
Right. Makes sense.
They want to be able to shape their own innovation policies.
So we've got these countries opting out completely. And then there's also this option for inventors to opt out of the UPC for individual patents.
You're right, there's that too.
Why would someone choose to do that?
Well, it's kind of like a safety net, you know?
Okay.
If they're not sure about this new system or they're worried about the potential cost, they could just stick with the national courts.
So they can just wait and see how it all plays out.
Exactly. Give it a few years, see how the UPC functions in practice.
But doesn't that create a lot of uncertainty in the meantime?
It does add some complexity, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll have some cases going through the UPC and some still being handled in national courts.
So it's kind of a two-track system for now.
Yeah, you could say that, and it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out.
So do you think the UPC will eventually become the main way to handle patent disputes in Europe?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? Will it prove itself to be fair and efficient?
Or will everyone just stick with the old system?
Time will tell.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
That's the nature of these big systemic changes.
They take time to settle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's always a bit of uncertainty in the beginning.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about the role of technology in all of this. I know the EPO is really pushing for advances in machine translation.
Oh, they are. They're betting big on it.
Why is that so important?
Well, right now, translations are a huge part of the patent process.
And huge expense.
Exactly. It can cost a fortune to translate these complex technical documents into all the different languages.
So the EPO's goal is to eventually eliminate the need for translations altogether.
That's the dream anyway.
Wow. So it wouldn't matter if your patent application is in Finnish or French or German. Everyone could just read it in their own language.
That's the vision.
That would be incredible.
It would really open up the patent system and make it much more accessible and affordable for everyone.
So it's not just about making things easier, it's about making things possible for people who might not have had access before.
Right? And it could have a huge impact on global innovation if we can break down these language barriers.
It sounds like science fiction, but it could actually happen.
Well, technology is moving fast. Who knows what the future holds?
So to sum up, we've got this new system with the potential to simplify patent protection and level the playing field, but we've also got a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah, a lot of unknowns.
Will it really live up to the hype?
That's the million-dollar question.
I guess we'll have to wait and see. So we've talked about individual inventors and big companies, but there's another group we need to consider, those small and medium-sized enterprises.
The SMEs.
Right. They're often the ones driving real innovation, but they
Yeah.
don't always have the resources to navigate the patent system.
It's true, they can be incredibly innovative, but they might not have those deep pockets to handle all the legal complexities.
So how does this unitary patent system impact them?
Well, I think it has the potential to be a game changer for SMEs.
How so?
Imagine it's like trying to climb a mountain, right? Each country a separate peak, and you have to conquer each one individually.
Exhausting.
Yeah, it can be. And for smaller companies with limited resources, it can be really daunting.
But with a unitary patent, it's like taking a high-speed gondola to the top.
Exactly. It's smoother, faster, and a lot less strenuous.
So it makes it possible for them to protect their ideas and compete on a larger scale?
Exactly, without breaking the bank.
But do you think they are hesitant to embrace this new system with all the uncertainty surrounding the UPC and the opt-outs?
I think there's definitely a learning curve, and some might be more comfortable sticking with what they know for now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the EPO is actually doing a lot to encourage participation from SMEs.
Really? Like what?
Well, for one thing, they have this compensation scheme for translation costs.
Oh, that's interesting.
So say you're a small startup in Italy and you file your patent in Italian.
Okay.
You can actually get financial assistance to cover the cost of translating it into English or French or German.
So it takes away that financial burden.
Exactly. It helps to level the playing field and shows that the EPO is serious about making this system accessible to everyone.
And if those machine translation dreams become reality, that language barrier could disappear completely.
Exactly. Imagine a world where language is no longer a barrier to innovation.
That's a pretty amazing vision.
It is. It's something worth striving for.
So it sounds like this new system has the potential to really shake things up in the world of European patents.
I think so. It's streamlined, it's potentially cheaper, and it's designed to empower those who might have struggled before.
But there are still those concerns about the opt-outs and the new court.
Definitely. And we don't know for sure if it will live up to all the hype.
It's like we're standing at a crossroads,
Exactly. We have two paths ahead of us, and we don't know which one will lead to the best outcome.
but it's exciting to be a part of this moment.
It is. It's a fascinating time to be following the world of patents.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are your biggest questions? What are you most curious to see unfold in the next few years?
Well, I'm really curious to see how the Unified Patent Court will function in practice.
Right. Will it be fair, efficient, and consistent?
Exactly. And will it actually attract more participants over time?
And what about those cost savings? Will they really materialize?
That's another big question. And of course, the ultimate question is, will this system actually lead to more innovation?
Especially from those smaller companies who now have a more accessible path to protect their ideas.
That's what we all hope for.
It's a story that's still being written.
Absolutely. And we can't wait to see how the next chapters unfold.
So to our listeners, if you're interested in the future of innovation, I highly encourage you to do your own deep dive into this European Unitary Patent System.
The EPO website is a great place to start.
And there are tons of articles and analyses out there from experts who are following this closely.
It's a complex topic, but it's worth understanding.
Absolutely. So we'll leave you with this thought-provoking question: will the European Unitary Patent System truly live up to its promise?
Only time will tell.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.